The Hyundai i20 is a humble family hatchback, but that hasn't stopped it from taking some impressive, if expensive, risks along the way. All-wheel disc brakes, a sunroof, 6 airbags. These are things you could get with an i20 back when they weren't just unconventional for the segment, they were pretty much unheard of. Combine that with the fact that you've got a new trend with Hyundai cars of the smaller cars doing something that the bigger ones aren't. The Creta gets features that the Tucson doesn't. The Venue introduced technologies that the Creta didn't have. So you can imagine why it is that we're excited about this car, the 2020 i20. Stop. Let's get technical first. Number one, what platform is this i20 based on? Well, it's based on Hyundai's new lightweight K platform, and the construction of this car, it's a 66% blend of advanced high-strength steel and high-strength steel. Number two, where does it fit in size-wise? Well, on most counts, it is larger than the old i20, except for height, where it's quite literally standing roof to roof. But the biggest increase you're going to see is in terms of width, and personally speaking, I do see that improving the stance. It's got a very hot hatchback-like stance, don't you think so? And lastly, Hyundai's got this habit of using different prefixes or suffixes with their model names. Embera, Zing, Elite, Neos. Anything of the sort over here? Nope. This one's just called the Hyundai i20. Alright, let's talk design. And off the mark, we have to say that it still looks very European like the old one, but this new design is definitely more daring. There's very well-defined character lines along the side, a very noticeable power dome, and it just looks very edgy, sporty, and raring to go. It's also got the flash features to match, like LED projector headlights, LED DRLs, projector fog lamps, and also LED tail lamps. And take a look at this front grille. Glossy finish but looks very sporty, and this particular mesh pattern is reserved for the turbo petrol only. Over to the side profile. These 16-inch alloy wheels really complement the car's athletic stance really well. But my favorite bit of the design would have to be how seamlessly the fuel cap has been integrated into the car's design. It also angles up when it opens. Is it necessary? No. But cool? Yes. But Hyundai does have a slight tendency to do things that are a little bit weird from time to time. And there are two things in this side profile that might just trigger your OCD ever so slightly. First of all, the line that emanates from the tail lamp, it doesn't merge into the one that comes from the headlamp. That's up here. And second, the door handles, they aren't aligned either. Over to the rear, there are two things that I really like and one thing that I don't so much. The first thing that I like is the rear bumper design. It has this splitter-like finish in the middle and it looks very convincingly sporty. The second thing that I like is how the rear end has this tucked-in sort of design with the tail lamps, and it makes it look a lot more sporty from the rear. Certainly reminds us of a certain rival from the segment. If it reminds you too, let us know in the comment section down below. Now, what I don't like is this, something that's been integrated specifically for the Indian market, and that is this chrome garnish at the rear. It makes it look like the car has braces. But never mind, don't bother with my opinion. Let me know what you think about this chrome garnish in particular, or the car as a whole in terms of design, down in the comment section down below.
Like it or not, the new car's design changes aren't just evolutionary. You could probably identify it as an i20 from the silhouette, but it's a significant departure from the version it replaces. And if that's the case on the outside, the sentiment just gets amplified on the inside.
Alright, over to the interior, and there are two main talking points over here. Number one, the quality has seen a slight improvement, but in certain parts, like the upper half of the dashboard, it's got a more smooth finish and the pattern feels nicer. And it's not an overall very big leap up as such, but it's definitely a tangible improvement compared to the old car. What I would have liked to see is maybe the integration of more soft touch plastics around the cabin, especially on points where you're going to make contact quite frequently, like in the center console or even on top of the dash, and especially over here on the door trim. Would you like to see some soft touch plastics or leather padding of some sort? That would have upgraded the experience quite a bit. The second thing that you're going to notice is that the design is a very significant change compared to the old car. It's lost a little bit of subtlety, but it still looks very tasteful.
Before you buy a new car, make sure you visit the Car Dekho app. Compare cars, check out expert reviews, get the best offers and discounts. Download the Car Dekho app today.
It's a bit of a gamble to change the cabin design by this much, but it's still ergonomically sound. It's also a design that's unique to the i20 for now, with just the right amount of sibling sharing. The Creta-derived steering, for example, is great to look at and grip as well. This also serves as a hint of what's to come because the steering isn't all the i20 picks up from its more expensive showroom mates. Like the Creta, it too gets a 10.25-inch touchscreen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which pairs up with a BOSE 7-speaker music system that includes a subwoofer. It even borrows the digital instrument cluster from the Verna and gets more, like an air purifier, wireless phone charger with a cooling vent, sunroof, blue ambient lighting, and Hyundai's BlueLink connected car tech. More importantly, the safety package is strong too.
Alright, now let's talk about the cabin space. The first thing that I like is that Hyundai has made improvements in terms of the room that's available on the inside. Now at 6.5 feet tall, I cannot sit behind my own driving position, but two 6-footers, one behind the other, easily doable. In fact, this is set to the height of someone who is exactly 6 feet tall, and I can sit behind this and for long journeys at that as well. The second thing, the cabin width has seen a significant improvement. In fact, the amount of shoulder room on offer has increased by almost exactly the same amount that the car has increased in terms of width. So yes, it does actually work as a 5-seater. The only catch over there would be that the users would have to be of an average size. And lastly, even with an all black cabin, you do not feel hemmed in or claustrophobic in the slightest. What I don't like? Well, the front headroom definitely could have been better, and it can be an issue for taller users, specifically in the sunroof equipped models. And yeah, the rear armrest. No cup holders or phone holder in there. Definitely something that could have been integrated.
Thankfully, the headroom at the rear isn't an issue thanks to the scooped out roof liner. At 6.5 feet tall, even I had headroom to spare. And that's what you realize after spending some time in the new i20. Put it down to the design or the all-black interior, the cabin doesn't look like it's particularly big or accommodating. But once you've seated yourself inside and experienced it, you find that the space has actually been utilized really well. Smaller things like the rear AC vents with an integrated charging port and phone pocket make the rear seat even more usable. To top it off, the boot space sees a slight increase versus the Elite, although a split folding rear seat is oddly missing. But what should make it more versatile and improve the i20's usability is the range of engine options. The BS6 era has proven to be an era of choice with Hyundai cars, and the new i20 continues the trend. A big talking point is the Petrol i20, which can now become a selling point where earlier it was a settling point. The 1.2-litre petrol is still available with a manual or CVT, with the latter getting a higher state of tune than before. But the more exciting option is the 1-litre turbo petrol that's won over a lot of Venue and Sonnet users and is available with an IMT or DCT here too. Lastly, the i20 is still offered with a diesel engine in a segment where, save for the Tata Altros, everyone's only got a petrol now.
Now, of course, we're going to save our final verdict for when we get to drive this car. But based on what we've seen, the i20 comes across as a very competent package. It gives existing Elite i20 owners a lot of reasons to want to upgrade. It comes across as a great package not only for first-time i20 buyers, but first-time car buyers in general. So if you had any excitement about this brand new car, all I can say is that excitement is completely justified.
रुक नहीं सकते पर सेफ तो रख सकते हैं ना।
घर बैठे कार्स कंपेयर करो, एक्सपर्ट रिव्यूज पढ़ो और हर एंगल से कार देखकर बेस्ट डिस्काउंट्स एंड ऑफर्स के साथ नई कार ले लो। डाउनलोड कार देखो ऐप नाउ।